about something that was very interesting. So, you know how the man at the pool of Bethsaida, there was an angel that was coming to stir up the water, and others were getting healed in that same place. But the miracle but it took Jesus coming to the pool, which was already a healing place, for that man to be healed, because his healing was going to be different. Another thing, Jesus performed a lot of miracles. He fed the 5,000, but he also did a miracle with Peter and John and James, where he multiplied fish for them, where they caught a lot of fish, right? And then at that moment, they just got rich, because literally they were saying that the fish was so much. They got rich. That was literally like their breaking point. But they still chose to follow Jesus. And then our pastor was saying that some of you, the reason why your miracle is taking long is because if God does it instantly, you might leave. You might be like one of the people that he just touched throughout his ministry. But he only chose 12. He did so many miracles. He healed so many people. He did so much, and yet he only chose 12 people. Some of you, God is calling you to walk with him, to be his disciples, to be the carrier of the light, and not just be the beneficiaries. Like, oh, I got a job. Oh, I got healed. I got this. And I remember being like, I used to think that that's what I'm called to. So when I came to Christ and I wasn't getting healed, I was like, what's wrong with this Jesus thing? Like, I thought he could heal. I thought he could bless me with this. And then over time, I realized that God was calling me to more. I wasn't just like any other person that was coming to Christ for things. No. He wanted me to carry his light. And I think that is so much more beautiful, because I have learned so much. I've had to endure being sick and still being able to believe that Jesus is a healer. I've had to be in situations which to me look like they're bad situations, and yet the Bible says that everything he works out for our good. I've had to live in situations where I don't have anything, and yet still believe that Jesus is a provider. I've had to be in situations where I feel so lost and still believe that Jesus is with me all the time. I've had to be in situations where like I'm so anxious and still have the ability to believe that, God, he gave me rest, and I'll tell other people God gives you rest, and I'll, say all these good things, and yet inside that's not how I feel all the time. I mean, obviously it was just like for seasons. There's certain seasons where like the enemy is just bashing you, and but all those things were true despite the pain, despite everything that I've had to go through. And I know it's just literally like the first step, because I've only been with Christ for like a year, and I know that there's more that's coming, but even the little that I've experienced has been so amazing, and I feel like it's just worth it to wait it out with God and let him use you for a much more bigger testimony than just what you came looking for in the first place. And when you think about it, look at the disciples. They were in situations where, Master, we don't have food. I'm sure there were even times where they could sleep without eating anything. And yet this was the same man that was multiplying bread. Guys, no. That was multiplying bread for 5,000 people. Like, you multiplied bread for 5,000 people. Why can't you? We're just 12 here. We're just 13. Please, Lord. But walking with God is going to take much more than you just believing he's good only when he's doing things for you. Only when you think that those things are good for you. You see, because I've experienced certain things that I believe, honestly, I didn't enjoy them, going through them. But then later on, I realized that God was doing something so much bigger than the pain that I experienced at that moment. Like, if I could go back, I wouldn't choose to not go through those things, because those things built me into a better Togo than I ever was. And I think that's the beautiful thing about working with God, is that he uses what was weak, feeble, and turns it into this beautiful diamond, into this beautiful thing, this beautiful flower, plant that is flourishing. And in that moment, you don't understand it, you don't see it, you don't get it, but he is doing something that is much more bigger than who you are, what you mean. He wants you to carry something so much bigger than just what others get from the kingdom. Because think about it, Jesus healed so many people, millions of people that he touched, but he chose 12 people. And that's where it becomes sometimes hard to serve in church, because you're like, Lord, I'm seeing all these people coming in church. I'm just a server in church, and I'm seeing all these people come in church and they're getting healed of things like cancer, heart conditions. They're getting their dream jobs. They're getting their dream let's say, I don't know, careers. They're growing financially. They're doing all these great and mighty things but I'm just here. And everything that I doubted God for, I eventually understood that what he was bringing to me was not only just so much more. Like, it doesn't matter really how much he gives me, or how much I'm getting from God, or what I'm getting from God. What matters is that whatever I was worried for would always come, no matter what. It was like there was a time for it to come to me. It just wasn't in that moment. And I think about it this way: like, if God had healed me so early on in my walk, guys, this girl, the way I knew me, I would have probably gone back to drinking, to be honest. Because the reason why I had stopped drinking before I got born again was because it used to hurt my tummy. Now if God healed me from that, and I was still very much a baby in my Christian walk, don't you think I'd have probably started drinking wine again? Probably, because I was probably not as strong as I am right now. But yeah, God has a better and bigger plan for you. And that's what I want you to understand. If it's taking long, if it's telling, it's probably for a reason. And the reason, probably a good one. So endure, be patient, and let God take his time, because it's going to be worth it. God bless you.